What's good, everybody? RJ Sheldon here, off the top show, episode 85. Hopefully, you guys are having a great Wednesday. Had some things to take care of. Monday, that's why I wasn't on, but we're here. It's Wednesday. Hopefully, you're having a good week up to this day. Let's go ahead and get into it. Obviously, we talk about sports here on this pod, especially NFL, NBA, and obviously all the current sports that are going on right now. So let's go ahead and hop into the NFL portion of this, where we talk about the NFC North. That's kind of the backbone of this um, pod in regards to the NFL side of things. So let's go ahead and talk about the Detroit Lions here. They played on Monday nights. Very electric. If you did watch the game, Detroit brought their fans out. They're very excited, and I would be excited too if I was a Detroit Lions fan. They are 6-2. They went ahead and beat the Las Vegas Raiders 26-14. Jared Goff, very efficient, been playing very well. This year for this ball club. 26 of 37 from the field, 272 yards passing, one touchdown, one interception. This was the emergence of Gibbs, obviously the running back for the Detroit Lions. This is a rookie coming out of Alabama, had 26 carries, 152 yards, and one touchdown. And on top of that, he definitely had, I think, 3 receptions over like 30 yards. For him to combined have 198 yards in one game. And I think he is on the record books with Calvin Johnson and Barry Sanders for most yards in a game. He definitely showed what he can do either way, running the ball, catching the ball. This is definitely a guy that I think right now is going to be the front runner for the second half of the season for this team to be even more elite. And you saw it on Monday. He did everything he needed to do, regardless if you wanted him to run stretch, up the middle, catching the football, running routes. He's definitely that guy. And then obviously we know everything about St. Brown. I mean, I said this before the season that he was going to be 1,000-yard receiver quietly. And I think this is probably his 5th or 6th game with over 100 yards. So they got things going on an offensive end and defensive end. Obviously, their front and guys in the back end are doing what they need to do to go ahead and complement their offense. And that is it for the Detroit Lions, winning that one 26-14, 6-2. Like I said earlier, Lions fans, you got a lot of things to be happy about. And then obviously the Minnesota Vikings went ahead and faced the Green Bay Packers. We all know about this rivalry game here. We all know basically the big news of this game with Kirk Cousins being out, but let's go ahead and just dive into this game here. The Vikings now are 3 wins. I think around not a streak, but they've won 3 games. I'm not saying in a row, or it might be in a row. I couldn't even tell you. But they're playing good football. In October, I think Kirk is always. I think I saw a stat that he's like 12 for 3 or 12-3 in the month of October. So they came in and played a very good game, and obviously up to the point until he got hurt. But Kirk Cousins, 23 of 31 from the field, 274 yards, 2 touchdowns. And I said last week as well, one guy that can go ahead and make this team even more elite. KJ Osborne, obviously 8 receptions for 99 yards. That's a very good stat line for him, and I continue to want to see this type of stat line out of him because he's definitely that wide receiver that can go ahead and make plays and do what needs to be done. And it was good to see that on Sunday. And also I have multiple guys as well. We had Addison score as well. Guys doing their thing. TJ Hawkinson, I think, had 2 touchdowns and had 1 touchdown, but was efficient. Everyone was getting the ball. And I said this last week as well. If they're skilled players, if they get their ball to the skilled players, especially on the perimeter, they're able to go ahead. Obviously, I know Kirk's out, but able to go ahead and give a clean pocket that I said, guys are going to win their one-on-one battles. I'm not worried. If I was a Vikings fan, I'm not worried about any type of talent when it comes to one-on-one, especially from the skills, because right now the defense playing very well. Flores got those guys playing at a high level, and now they're starting to mesh together. Harrison Smith saying he's never done this type of stuff in his 12 years of playing. So there's a new chemistry on that defense, and you clearly saw it when you guys played the Green Bay Packers. It was on full display. But at the end of the day, I think with this team, it still is going to rely on obviously the wide receivers and their skill players due to now Kirk Cousins being out, which is terrible that he had tore his Achilles. Um, I hate to see it because he's definitely a gamer. But I wouldn't worry. I'm going to get in probably to later of this, on Friday on kind of what my thoughts are for the franchise and what they should do moving forward. But you do have obviously the rookie that you drafted in Hall. Last time I checked, I did this kind of rundown on kind of the top quarterbacks heading into this previous draft. And Hall was one of those guys. He threw for over 3,000 yards, 31 touchdowns, and 6 interceptions. Played at BYU. That's a pretty good stat line in college. Granted, yes, I know it's the NFL, but you never know. You've seen a lot of guys like Purdy. You've seen guys come in, they're in a good system, things are gelling, and you just got to make the right decisions and not turn the football over. And look at what he turned out to be. So I'm not saying that he might do all that, but you never know. And then for the Green Bay Packers, man, this is not a good situation if you're a Green Bay Packers fan. We are 2-5. We look horrible on offense. We don't know what our identity is. We don't know if we want to run the football. We don't know if we want to pass the football. We have no structure. We don't even know what guys are doing from an offensive line standpoint. Shout out to my guy Jimmer, who's kind of more in depth with the Packers and knowing kind of what's going on. But long story short, from an offensive end, man, Matt LaFleur is clearly getting exposed to me on what a piece that Aaron Rodgers was during his time here, being able to manage, being able to go ahead and audible out of things that were called. Like, why would you call that? Obviously, I know Jordan Love is not at that position, but as a coach, you need to be able to go ahead and have a plan together to score every time. Granted, yes, I know that sounds cliche and it's like, oh, okay. RJ, you can say that for everybody. Yes, I can. You can, excuse me. But the big thing is that you don't see anything that shows that they're trying to get in field goal position or have an opportunity to score the ball. We're not running the football. Aaron Jones is still, what I've saw, still not being able to get the touches that he needs. There's just so much confusion. There's so much who's going to get the ball or what's our main focus. We got Watson still not making plays. Guys not trying to go ahead and be great, in certain situations in key moments in the game. So there's just so much going on, especially from an offensive perspective. And then from a defensive perspective, Douglas is gone, obviously heading to the Bills. Another front office decision, like, what are we doing? So clearly what it is, if what I'm seeing from a Packers standpoint, is that it's either rebuild, which is most likely going to happen. Granted, I know this is a long season and we have, about 6-7 games left till playoff time comes. But realistically, this move that the front office made is telling me that we're already going to go ahead and look for the future. We're already going to be planning for the future. We don't really care what's going on right now because Douglas was our best corner. He was playing way better than Jair Alexander. I think he graded high for 8 weeks, at least above top 10 in his position. So it's like now our best guy is gone. Now we're just basically going to loaf and who knows, try to go get Caleb Williams. You never know what's going to happen from now until then. But now you start to linger and have all these things floating around because the media is going to go ahead and, okay, well, what's Jordan Love going to be? Is he going to be able to do it next year, this, that, and the third? So there's going to be so much off-season drama already just due to the position that we're in right now. And, it's disgusting to see. This was a really bad loss, especially at home. This is a rivalry game. This looked horrible. We looked like we didn't know what we were doing out there, and guys not making plays on both ends and getting out coached, to be honest. So I don't know. Matt LaFleur needs to get it together and really find identity. I mean, it's week 8. I don't know what else we can do. We can only now just be a normal Packer game. We play hard for a couple drives, go ahead and make a game interesting. Then somehow maybe later in then it doesn't work out and we're like this the whole season. But where I stay with the Packers on that. It's just sick to see because there is talent out there and guys just need to know what they're doing and it's not happening. So going to be a long season. And then last but not least here, give me a sec. Uh, Chicago Bears faced the Los Angeles Chargers. They lost that one 30-0. Um, Obviously, we know Justin Fields is still out, so the backup is in Tyson Baggett. Baggett, excuse me. 25 of 37 from the field, 232 yards throwing, 2 interceptions. Freeman had 9 carries for 34 yards. And Cole Kmet had 10 receptions for 79. Bears are 2-6. Do I think they're in the same position as the Packers? Absolutely. Do I think that the rumor now of getting Caleb Williams is now more in the future or more now than it was back then, because Justin Fields was talked up about, oh, he's going to be able to do this, that, the third. We don't need to worry about that right now. But now it's week 8. You're 2-6. Starting at that time to where if you don't win at least 1 or 2 more games, that the playoffs are not looking too promising. So I really think in this situation for the Bears, you know, granted, I don't know their schedule at the moment, but, they're going to have to play the Packers again. They have to play the Vikings. They're going to have to play the Lions. It's going to be tough games. Do I think that they could possibly win, against the Packers? Maybe, but they didn't at, away. Packers won that one. Do I think they can beat the Vikings now that, Kirk Cousins is out? Who knows? You know, right now it's kind of a weird in the NFC North right now. It's kind of just like, obviously, the Lions are the Lions. They're going to probably, if you want my real opinion, probably going to win the NFC, North division, or unless something dramatic happens. But that second to fourth spot is wide open now, due to obviously Kirk Cousins being out. Do I think the Vikings still are going to, probably be second, coming out of that? Absolutely. They might even maybe sneak one if they do play the Lions. And when they play the Lions, maybe they get one at home. But I do still see the Vikings still at that second spot. And then, third and fourth spot can be whoever at this point. It could be the Packers or the Bears. But, what I just said, I think it's just a toss up between that second to fourth spot. It's going to be a toss up between obviously the Vikings, the Packers, and the Bears. Because due to obviously Kirk Cousins being out, that takes a huge hit out of the Vikings. And that's why I kind of gauge it at that. But I do think that Hall can come in, and if he be efficient and makes just the right reads, you have athletes, you have skill players. Get the ball out to them, make it easy. And you saw that for the Vikings when they were making the play calls. O'Connell was making obviously the right ones and had a lot of great schemes into getting their best guys, the football. So you can also see that as, possibly like a situation like it was with the 49ers and Purdy. I'm not saying that it could be like that, but you saw what happened when guys are around. Quarterback kind of like Hall comes in, and you saw what he did late in the game. Hit TJ Hockenson over the middle. Obviously stepped up in the pocket and did what he needed to do. These guys are pros. And I think that he can come in and obviously manage the game, but I know it was his first, game yesterday coming in late. But I think he can definitely handle that pressure and make the right decisions, especially right now. So I would still have them 2 spot, but like again, them bottoms where it comes to the Bears and the Packers would be a toss up. But it's gonna be an interesting finish in the NFC North. But I do have the Lions at top of that right now. But it's definitely gonna be a dogfight between those 3 teams: Packers, Vikings, and the Bears. And that for the NFC North division. The recap obviously on that there. Obviously get to Friday and talk about more about kind of what week 9 is going to head and hold, but just to cap this off here, Lions 6-2 at number 1, Vikings 4-4 at number 2, Packers 2-5 at number 3, and Bears 2-6. Let's go ahead and move on over to some NBA. Last night, if you were watching on TNT, had the New York Knicks face the Cleveland Cavaliers. Julius Randle was a top performer of that game. From a New York Knicks perspective, he had 19 points, 10 rebounds, 2 assists. Then for the Cleveland Cavaliers, Donovan Mitchell had 26 points, 3 rebounds, and 3 assists. Watching this, obviously, New York Knicks look very fluent, obviously making their shots. They got their people there in regards to Brunson, Randall, forgetting some other guys' names as well, but you know who I'm talking about. Played a great game, finished it out at the end of the fourth quarter. New York Knicks should be a team this year that should be at least top 5 in the East for sure. And I don't see why not. They just got to play, games and close out in the fourth quarter. And then for the Cavaliers, this is, I would say, a measuring stick, but at the same time, it's game 4, but you definitely got to go ahead and kind of be in that 500 range moving forward because it's going to be a long season. Because I expect these two teams to play again deep when playoff time comes. So that was that 109-91. The Knicks won that over the Cavaliers. And then the Spurs went to Arizona to face the Suns. Keldon Johnson, top performer for the Spurs there, had 27 points, 3 rebounds, 4 assists. And then for the Suns, obviously, Kevin Durant had 26, 2, and 7. Wembanyama had a very good performance, I would say, being in a one-on-one with a superstar in KD. He had 18 points. Let me see here. 5 rebounds, 4 blocks. It 1 assist, but there was a couple key players where obviously down the stretch, him being 7'4", going ahead off a rebound and slamming it in. And then obviously there was a questionable call on KD, which I thought, if you really want my opinion, should have been a foul. They should have went into overtime. But I don't know. Maybe it's just wanting to make a story with Wembanyama, going ahead and give him his, KD first win. Who knows? But that was definitely a foul, and they should have called that. But anyways, long story short, they lost. But Wembanyama definitely had a couple key plays, and it's just crazy to see how he can go ahead and do what he does for how tall he is, wingspan, everything, and be able to play like a guard. I mean, the NBA is in good hands, and his talent is only going to get better and better. So that was that. It's a good win for the Spurs, though. Young team. Popovich has those guys obviously playing hard, and regardless of whatever situation is going on, they got talent. I'm liking Devin Vassell as well. It's another guy that came in with, I think, Wembanyama. I don't know if he's a rookie. Let me check. Yep. Nope, excuse me. Came in 2020, first round pick, 11 pick. So he's been in there finding the guy, found a team that likes his game and look at what's going on. And he's been playing tough too. So I like his game as well. But that was the festivities from the NBA yesterday. Today, we definitely have some more basketball on as well. We got the New Orleans Pelicans against the Oklahoma City Thunder at 7:30 p.m. Eastern time. That's definitely going to be a good one. SGA, Brandon Ingram, obviously want to see those two guys play very well at a high level and be making plays. Then obviously the nightcap, it is the rivalry between both LA teams. Got the Clippers versus the Lakers. LeBron James, obviously versus Kawhi. And obviously, their firepower with, both sides. They got James Harden over there now. They got PJ Tucker over there. Going to be interesting to see how that meshes out. Obviously, PG is playing unreal right now at a high level. What's that going to look like minutes-wise? How are they going to, gel together? I'm excited to see what goes on, and with both teams, because this is definitely going to be a playoff, atmosphere. They're definitely going to come out and play and test to see what they both got, because this is definitely two teams that are going to be potentially, if they stay healthy, could go ahead and be, fighting to get in that Western Conference Finals. So Gonna be fun to see that at 10 o'clock. And with that, man, short and sweet today on this Wednesday. Hopefully, you guys are having a great day up to this point. Continue to strive to be the best you can be. Tap in on all platforms on my end when it comes to a social media standpoint: Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, Off the Top Show. Appreciate you guys tuning in. Appreciate, obviously, from when we started this all the way in February, for all of the people that have been rock with me until now. Appreciate y'all. And we will see you on Friday. Peace out.